Hey, Foot Clan, we want to make sure everyone is aware as the season is wrapping up and we're getting our hashtag Foot Clan titles or our hashtag Foot Clan sadness that you can always go over to jointhefoot.com and stay with us through the offseason. Make sure that your fantasy game is on point for 2017 at jointhefoot.com.
This is Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the FantasyJocks.com studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday. Hump day. Hey, what day is it?
Mike.
We're back again. Jason, what a wonderful intro to the show you just did.
Yeah.
I have to share this. I don't know if you saw this. I am guessing you did. We got a little note, and somebody said they ignored. Well, first they decided that they only wanted to follow one of us for the entire year. Like
on Twitter?
I don't remember where they said it on Twitter. No, they wanted to follow on the show. Listening to the show,
okay.
They wanted to ignore two of our advice and pick one. And the way they picked was you have glasses. And they said
I have not seen this.
They said I went with Poindexter Jason.
There you go.
And all I did was follow Jason's advice all year long and completely ignored Andy and Mike.
Hashtag Foot Clan title, I assume.
He's in the championship
there
game.
you go.
So that was really funny. I laughed at that. We're getting a lot of great stories and notes from people who are in their championship game or have had a really fun, exciting year. And so that's why we do this. It's a fun time of year. It's high pressure, my friends.
We know not everybody's in the championship game.
No, of course. I'm not. I just lost out on a championship game by 2.9 points.
Over at footclanleagues.com, we know 11/12ths of you are not. Oh, wait, no, that would be 10/12ths, which would be 1/6. 1/6.
I mean, you're kind of there. 11/12ths can't win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. What are we doing today? We have Mailbag, a playoff mailbag, a Thursday night preview. We've got Pump the Brakes, which, by the way, last week we were dead on with the Pump the Brakes. We said do not start a New England wide receiver. Do not start Marcus Mariota. And Mike did a little double pump, and he said...
More like a full throttle, but...
You basically said, hey, don't pump the brakes.
Don't not play
Drew Brees. You said to play Drew Brees. You knew people out there would be pumping the brakes on him after he broke their hearts for 9 quarters. And that came to fruition. So I'm very happy about the performance in playoff week of Pump the Brakes. So we're going to get into those in just a minute as well. It is the 8th day of Foot Clan over at jointhefoot.com. We're giving stuff away.
Christmas.
Jason is our Santa Claus, as you might expect. And
I'm
so
fat.
No. You know what I found the other day?
You're jolly, man.
I found a white beard hair. Fully white beard hair in my beard. And I wasn't happy about it.
Oh, in your beard?
In my beard.
Oh, I've had a few in mine.
I mean, but it's just... And then, for a moment, I looked at it, right? Like, I tweezered it out. I tweezered it out, and I held it up in the light. And I pictured myself with a fully white beard.
Ooh, as Santa Claus?
And no, just as the days of my oldness come closer.
No, but here's the deal. Whenever I'm looking in the mirror, you look a little bit older. The beard starts getting some gray hairs. The top of the head gets some gray hairs. I look, I'm like, you know who looks good? George Clooney. And that's an elder gentleman.
You know what my wife would say?
I just imagine myself turning
Anderson
into George.
Cooper.
Yeah.
My wife is in love with Anderson Cooper.
Except he doesn't look old. He just has gray hair.
Yeah.
His face is that of a teenager.
He had gray hair when he was 11, I'll bet you.
I looked at the I was at the Saints game, and the program, they handed it out. And Roman Harper, the safety who's been in the, lots of just like almost a gray head of hair. It's very, it's defined. It's a defining look. The wisdom that comes with that gray hair.
It's true.
Really going to be great for fantasy football. All right, I don't know how we got onto that. But let's go ahead and jump into Pump the Brakes. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good. O'Reilly.
Auto Parts. Ow! All right, Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. We've got 3 new names or 3 new situations you want to pump the brakes on this week. It's championship week.
I'm going to go first.
Well,
Oh.
because it rhymes with championship week. It's Tyreek.
The freak.
Oh.
Hill. Here's the deal.
So you're pumping the brakes on the freak?
I am pumping the brakes on the freak. I'm living a little bit dangerously, and here's why I'm living dangerously, because it only takes it only takes one touch for Tyreek Hill to go 68 yards for a touchdown. I get that. The fact that he's involved in special teams and has, kick returns, you have the opportunity, and if you need
Could happen.
If you need a boom play, one of those 17-point plays, then put Tyreek the Freak in. But I am saying in the championship matchups, I'm not doing it. You got guys who, like Taylor Gabriel, are low volume, super speed, where you've seen them be very productive in fantasy football. But this week, we're coming off of a week last week with Tyreek the Freak that he only had one touch but was very fantasy relevant because of what he did with that. Coming up this week, he plays against Denver. Denver's special teams is very good. Denver's defense is very good, very fast. I don't think that they are going to be surprised by Tyreek, and I think they have the athletes on their defense and in their special teams to be able to take good angles and run Tyreek down. The small volume with the really good defense scares me, and I'm staying away from Tyreek this week.
It's not bad.
You realize he dominated them.
Do it again. That's what I'm saying. Try
Okay.
again, Tyreek.
Yeah, I'm not doubting this pump the brakes. Just saying would
DeAndre, would you
the
start
thing
DeAndre
is-
Hopkins over Tyreek Hill?
I sure would, especially now that you got a little getting savage over there.
7 out of Tyreek Hill's last 10 games, he's been double digits. The games he has not, it's been 4, 8, and 9. But the volume was there. Here's the thing.
When Jeremy Hill was gone.
What about Jeremy Maclin, though?
Or Jeremy Maclin.
His best game of the year is against Denver.
Yes.
Zero receptions last week is the key point here. Zero receptions.
What I love when I'm looking at the
And one
finishes of last, the best wide receiver on the week, because he had the big play. He's number 10 in standard with 0 receptions.
Yeah.
A wide receiver. It's just
All right,
just very funny.
I'm pumping the brakes on the number 2 and number 4 quarterback from last week,
All right.
which was Matt Moore and Carson Palmer. Now both of those
Matt Moore.
Now both of those quarterbacks travel on the road in Buffalo for the Dolphins, which I've already made my opinions on that game. Someone asked me to pick all the games yesterday, and I am taking Buffalo in that game. Travels to Buffalo. Cardinals travel to Seattle. And I think these guys are both coming down to earth in a very, very hard way. I'm steering clear of either of them as Week 16 options. So I'm saying don't buy in. Even if Mike tells you he likes Matt Moore.
I do.
12 completions last week. 4 of them happen to be touchdowns. That's not happening again on that efficiency level. It is a mirage Matt Moore.
Yeah, my pump the brakes was almost Jarvis Landry. So there you go.
Fair enough. I'm going to double. I'm going double trouble here because I'm doing a preemptive. Pump the brakes. I want people to hear this for 2017.
From Mike, of all people.
Yes. I have received many tweets. Many tweets. I will never draft Jordan Reed again. I get it. At the biggest time, you needed him, and he failed you. To be fair, he really shouldn't have even been on the field. But look at this, Foot Clan, because Jordan Reed is getting the press because he was the Monday night game. Travis Kelce in a half-point PPR, 5.6. Jimmy Graham, 3.7. Tyler Eifert, 1.4. Antonio Gates, 1.6. He wasn't the only elite-level tight end to let people down. In healthy games, he's averaging almost 14 points a game.
It's great for a tight end.
So I'm just saying, don't do this. He killed me in the playoffs, so I'm never drafting him again.
No,
Can I have a follow-up question?
Sure.
What are you doing with him this week? Jay Gruden
I'm
Jay
not gonna-
Gruden has
I'm not
already
gonna
come
play
out
him.
and said he's playing.
You punt
Yeah.
him far away.
Yeah, it's not happening. I mean, we saw him on the field. Every time he just gets grazed, it hurts because his injury is severe.
So this can be a pump and go. It's a pump.
Sure.
It's a pump right now. You slam on these brakes with Jordan Reed. You get out of the car. You
let him
go-
get his offseason tune-up?
Yes, and then
Let him
and
get
then-
healthy.
and then you drive next year.
But to be relevant for this week, Jimmy Graham, I'm sticking with the tight end. Arizona's number 1 against the tight ends. The reemergence of Tyler Lockett, the healthy LCL, has coincided directly with the decline of Jimmy Graham, as well as Luke Wilson also being on the field. Jimmy Graham, I believe it's 4 of the last 6 weeks, is not even a top 10 tight end. His numbers have plummeted. He was fantastic to start the year when Seattle really needed him, but their other weapons are getting healthier. Plus the terrible matchup against Arizona. I'm looking for a different option than Jimmy Graham, if at all possible.
Love it.
All right, so you heard it. Tyreek the Freak, Matt Moore, and Carson Palmer, and Jimmy Graham are Pump the Brakes for this week. So those were, well, you also mentioned don't forget Reed next year. Don't take your bitterness out on him because his performance is elite when he actually is healthy. So that was Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices, better parts, better service every day.
Every day.
Every day. All right, let's talk news.
News and notes from around the league.
I'm jumping in here with the very first bit of very important news. Foot Clan. We got a toot-toot here around the studio. Last week, Jason, my esteemed colleague, was the number 1 fantasy analyst on the week according to the Fantasy Pros accuracy tracking. Andy was number 2. Andy said that's not good enough.
No.
Andy said number 2 is not good enough. So Andy has finished number 1 this week.
Whew. Good job, my man.
Congratulations.
I was very jealous of Jason.
First 2 weeks of the playoffs, we got the number 1 spot.
Yeah, that's great because that means
loving it.
Even with all of the variables and things that go right and wrong, I feel like we're leading people the right way. So that's what matters. Donte Moncrief returned to Colts practice on Tuesday. Enough confidence in the Moncrief to start him in your fantasy championship game?
I have a really tough decision coming up for my dynasty championship here. I have Moncrief. I would like to play him because my other option is Jordan Matthews. That's a Thursday night game against the Giants, so I'm going to be up against it here. Hopefully we see some, full practices today and tomorrow for Donte Moncrief. Maybe give me the confidence to slip in.
Here's a question for you. If you decided against Jordan Matthews, would you consider adding Dorsett as your emergency play?
It's a dynasty league.
Oh, yeah.
And I do believe I have Dorsett on the roster.
Well, that's funny.
So
he had a big game last week.
He had one.
He had a big
this is what he does. Dorsett,
just saying, with Moncrief off the field, it's a higher odds that Dorsett gives you something.
Well, Dorsett is like Tyreek and Taylor Gabriel. His big game, it's 1 reception for a 50-yard touchdown. Next on the list, we got Jay Gruden says Jordan Reed is expected to play Week 16. I'm not playing. Foot Clan, you know that I am the captain of the Rule 86. I love Jordan Reed. I'm not going to let this happen.
Yeah, we're getting back to the original rule. If he's healthy, you play him. He might be on the field.
Not.
He is not in any way, shape, or form close to healthy.
Ladarius Green remains in the league's concussion protocol.
Ugh.
So that's trouble.
Feelers out there for Jesse James.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon did not practice on Tuesday.
That's trouble. Short week. Most of the games are on Saturday. That's trouble. And if you're the sarcophagus, Kenneth Farrow, he takes on Cleveland. I'm okay playing him this week.
Sure. Kenyon Barner, IR. Darren Sproles returned to practice.
Yeah, they're going to bury Ryan Matthews again.
So you like Sproles?
I don't like him, but
I don't really like any of them.
If I had to play between the two, I'd probably still go with Matthews, just searching for the touchdown.
All right. Hey, Joe Thomas, 10th straight Pro Bowl.
He's good.
He's really good.
Remember when we were supposed to draft Joe Thomas?
We being the Cardinals.
Yes. Well, we know. But the Cardinals were supposed to draft Joe Thomas because Cleveland was not expected to take him. They take Joe Thomas, and then we take Levi Brown.
Over Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
good memory.
Great
memory.
Oh, the old Cardinals.
Thomas says he wants to be in Cleveland when they have their, Chicago Cubs type of moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like Joe Thomas
like
says.
He wants to be living there when he's 80, and then they've done it?
Yes, that's correct.
He just wants to stay in the city. So, any other news you guys think needs to be mentioned right now?
Nah.
Mailbag.
Mailbag, yeah!
All right, just a reminder to everybody, head over to the
Mailbag, yeah!
I thought you were done. You surprised me.
Done.
You going to do the whole mailbag that voice?
Yeah.
So head over to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. That's where you can find all of our week 16 rankings, flex rankings. You can find our questions tab where you can submit questions to the show. Today we're doing a playoff mailbag, answering voicemail questions as well with our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers. That's where we break a lot of news, share articles from our writing staff, and that's where Mike also does Periscope on Sunday mornings.
It's usually Sunday, and now this week will be different because Saturday's Christmas Eve. I'm probably not Periscoping on Christmas Eve. Love the Foot Clan, but dude, it's Christmas Eve. Got to take care of the family. So stay updated on the show. I'll probably do something Friday.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it this week.
Maybe even Thursday. I don't know.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the mailbag. We'll start with a voicemail question. Does that sound good to you guys?
It sounds great.
Hey guys, quick question. I got Jamison Crowder, Michael Thomas, Sammy Watkins, Malcolm Mitchell, and Tyrell Williams. I need to leave one on the bench. So between those, who do I start? Thanks. Love the show. Have a good day.
So he just needs to leave
man.
one of those on the bench: Crowder, Thomas, Watkins, Mitchell, and Tyrell Williams. I think it's between
Eileen Watkins.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's between Watkins and maybe Crowder. I think I will sit Watkins this week.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
I agree.
Just from a volume. I mean, it's just the volume odds. It doesn't mean he can't have a great week.
His snap counts went down once again, and once again they're in Buffalo, meaning cold weather. So Watkins, he's got I think he's got the lower floor, even though he's got a high ceiling.
Yeah, you said once again. This was the first time it's gone down. That's the thing. He had been incrementing up over and over again. He was at 92%.
No. Once again is for the weather. I believe this is the third cold game in a row for Sammy Watkins.
Gotcha. Yeah, his snap count went from, 92% to 64%?
Yeah, correct.
That is not good. All right, jump into another voicemail.
Hi, guys. This is Casey from Reno, Nevada. I love the show. I listen every day at work. Thanks for helping me get to my first championship.
Woo!
It was a hard-fought season, but I'm stoked I made it. I have a trust question for you. Alshon Jeffery with Matt Barkley or DeAndre Hopkins with the Savage? Also, I know it's not really addressed in the show, but maybe throw out some IDP names that might be solid pickups for Week 17. Thanks so much, guys. Love you. I'm hoping to bring home a Foot Clan title.
That is a great comparison between Hopkins and Jeffrey for
Did
this
she
week.
say the Savage?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love
Fred
it.
himself.
Fred himself. So, Matt Barkley,
What would you
Tom
do
Savage.
for saying a
Matt Barkley's at home with Alshon Jeffrey against Washington. And then you have Houston, which is at home against Cincinnati. That is a tough call. I think I'm going Alshon Jeffrey on the trust side. I've seen more of Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley made 3 Chicago Bear wide receivers relevant last week. 3. Thompson, Meredith, Jeffrey.
Fair.
I have seen more from Jeffrey this year that I like. I have seen more from Barkley than Savage that I like. I think there is more about the Chicago game plan here against Washington, the propensity for them to put up bigger numbers versus Cincinnati putting big numbers up against Houston and Houston to force a passing game. So that's where I'm leaning.
I'm going to give you a number. The number is 42 because that is the percentage of targets from Tom Savage, or I apologize, the Savage, that went to DeAndre Hopkins. Nearly half of all attempts from Savage went to Hopkins. He knows where he's got to throw the ball. I would go with Hopkins.
I'm gonna tie break here and go with Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon has, he's a bigger target. Look, all those targets. If you look, I think he got 17 targets last week. It took that for him to be fantasy relevant this last week because he's not the type of target like Alshon, where you're this big, big body, tall guy. For me, I prefer Alshon. Plus, if you're going to look for a tiebreaker, the matchup with Washington, 46 point over under, more points put on the board. I think Alshon, but it's a great question between these.
Wait, so where's
You want to know what's
in
interesting?
Chicago, right?
Yeah, they both are at home. What's interesting is that
One of them's in a dome.
who had more targets last week, Cameron Meredith or Alshon Jeffery?
Cameron
Ooh.
Meredith, I think.
Cameron Meredith. Who had more targets, Deontay Thompson or Alshon Jeffery?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
13 for Meredith, 10 for Thompson, 9 for Jeffery. I'm still going with Jeffery.
All right, fair enough. Before we get to any more of the questions, we'd like to thank today's sponsor, 5-4.
Oh, I love it.
You know we're talking about the 5-4 Club, helping us look fresh.
That's all I wear anymore for jeans, like literally.
Look, the winter season is approaching. You got to keep it fresh, but you want to be warm, but you got to look good. You got to look good, and 5-4 is hooking you up. They have, when you go and you sign up, you get to choose from 4 different style profiles. You look wild. That was a little bizarre. But you can choose from classic, casual, forward, a mix. Shopping is the worst. Shopping in holiday season, the worst.
It's terrible.
Stay away from the mall right now, people, because it's going down. You know what's not going down? You, because you're going to order your clothing from 5-4. And you build up your wardrobe. Build up your wardrobe like our man Andy over here, our host. He's looking better than ever. Better than ever.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, 5-4.
You are welcome. Are you curious to see how easy 5-4 Club really is? You go to 54club.com. Use that promo code BALLERS at sign up. You're going to get 40% off your first month worth of 5-4 packages, plus some Mark McNary sunglasses valued at $75. That's the 5-4 Club. The promo code is BALLERS. That offer will expire at the end of December.
Yeah, we also want to make sure you know about Harry's Razors. This time of year, it's sometimes difficult to get gifts for guys. I think it's much more difficult to get gifts for guys. And razors that come in a nicely packaged, we've seen these boxes. They are a good Christmas gift. You're talking about a heavy-duty, nice handle, and they actually have Christmas shaving sets that are made to be gifts for this holiday season. Andy and I have used Harry's Razors for a long time, and their blades are really high quality, 5 blades per razor, built by the German manufacturing plant that they own, which is how you can get it affordable. And right now, Harry's, they're giving their holiday shave set, they are giving you $5 off with our code that is footballer. So I really recommend everybody, if you haven't got it yet for, a gift for that guy out there, go to harrys.com right now, get the holiday shave set, and don't forget to enter the code, which is footballers, at checkout to get $5 off. That's harrys.com, code footballers.
All right, Dylan in Los Angeles has a question for Week 16. Tyreek Hill, Allen Robinson, Kenneth Dixon. You need to pick 2, bench 1. What do you think about that? Tyreek Hill, Allen Robinson, and Kenneth Dixon. Where does your pump the brakes travel to, Jason? Does it travel to the realm of starting Allen Robinson or Kenneth Dixon ahead of him?
Here's the deal. If I could make Allen Robinson my pump the brakes, I probably would. I feel like when a guy has been disappointing you as much,
it's hard to pump the brakes on a guy going 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So for me,
but don't you like Blake Bortles this week?
Yeah, look, the upside is there for Allen Robinson, but the downside is there as well. I mean, this is tough. It's definitely for me between Allen Robinson and Tyreek Hill. I mean, those guys are similar situations in a standard league.
I'm going to play Robinson and Dixon. So I'm going to go with your pump.
I'm going to go with Hill and Dixon.
That's fine.
I think I go with Hill and Dixon as well. The only reason is because it's standard. If it was PPR, you've got more volume going Allen Robinson's way. But Tyreek, I think, has a greater opportunity of that complete home run ball than Allen Robinson.
Okay. Eric Ebron or Jason Witten on Monday night?
Wait, what? Who's this from?
Same question. Same person.
Oh, apologize. Give me the names again.
Jason Witten or Eric Ebron. They play on Monday night against one another for the championship. Jason Witten, I believe, had 10 catches last week.
Yeah, but this is standard.
It's a standard league.
I'm going Eric Ebron. Dallas, their defense is not very good against tight ends. Eric Ebron has disappointed people the last few weeks, but there's very few tight ends who haven't disappointed. If you're looking at a championship matchup, I think that your higher upside play here is Ebron. And while the floor probably has a higher percentage with Jason Witten, I don't, that's just how I see it. I would prefer. I think that they're going to need Eric Ebron to be good. I don't think that Dallas needs Witten in this game necessarily to be good.
Yeah, Witten's problem is always touchdowns. He only has 2 on the year back-to-back in Week 8 and 9. That being said, Detroit, they're on the road. Witten's at home. He had 10 catches last week, and Detroit's 29th against tight ends. I'm going to lean Jason Witten. Mike, split the difference for us.
Oh, I lean Witten.
All right, Kevin in Michigan. Who should I start between Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota?
Ooh.
It's a good question. I'm going to go with Carr, and I think they're both good options.
Go with Carr with that finger.
Yep.
I mean, things have not been very good for fantasy.
Yeah, and, Mariota's had 2 bad weeks in a row. Obviously,
tough matchups.
Tough matchups.
I don't know why I keep talking.
I don't
like
know why
this.
you're talking. Just pick one, bro.
Jason, who are you going to play?
I'm going to go Derek Carr. I like the game better. There's a 53-point over-under, and I could see it being much more high-scoring than the Tennessee-Jacksonville game. So for those reasons, I'll go Carr.
Now that you've made your decision, Mike, go ahead and make yours.
Mariota.
Well, there's $1,000 on the line for Kevin in this game. So you still feel good about Mariota?
Yeah.
All right, Joshua.
I still feel good about Carr.
Joshua in Queens. How good do we feel about that matchup and battle?
Joshua in Queens?
No, Carr and Mariota. How good do we feel about that?
They will probably end up a few spots apart from each other in my rankings. I don't think one's going to be great.
It's not water bet worthy, Mike.
No, they're very close.
I see Derek Carr as like a 10. I think Derek Carr will end up at
what's a 10?
Like quarterback 10.
Okay.
It sounds really good when I say I see him as a 10.
He's a 10.
Like a 10 out of 10 in the
like
dunk contest.
A 10 out of 12 in the top quarterback ones. Marcus Mariota will probably be a high-end quarterback 2 for me this week.
Joshua in Queens, New York has a half-point PPR league. He needs to start 2 wide receivers between Evans, Cooper, Dez, Hill, and Michael Thomas. Mike Evans is playing for me, and I think I'm going to play Evans, and I think I'm going to play Cooper.
Oof.
Did you see today Amari Cooper is going to the Pro Bowl, and Michael Crabtree is not?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
No Drew Brees there either. Dak's in ahead of Drew Brees.
Well, that one I understand the new hotness vibe.
Just saying.
But Cooper over Crabtree?
That's right.
Come on.
It is what it is, my friend.
That's the story of Michael Crabtree's career. Is just always underappreciated.
But we think about it in terms of, let's see where we're at. So Crabtree's 77 for 866 and 8 this year. Amari Cooper is 74 for 1,038 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I think it's very fair because he's got a 1,000-yard season already. 200 more yards.
It's just so difficult because he has the yardage because he's the big play guy, but he disappears from games.
Yeah,
Michael Crabtree doesn't do that.
That's because Crabtree gets the Eric Decker treatment. That's the truth. I mean, you have the consistent. Now, given Brandon Marshall rose above and was a great one, where Cooper hasn't done that consistently. But
for me to answer this question, Mike Evans is certainly in, despite his lowering in targets and he's still probably the best option here. But I'm going to go Michael Thomas. Yeah. As my number 2
over Dez and over Cooper.
I am going. Dez is close. I'm certainly going over Cooper.
So you go Evans, Thomas, same game.
Yeah,
that's the way I was leaning too.
Wow.
So
wow. Okay.
I agree.
Voicemail question.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Huge fan. Looking to get a Foot Clan title, and I got a question for you. I'm in a 2-quarterback league, and for my quarterback 1. I already have Phillip Rivers locked and loaded. My wide receiver 1 is Odell Beckham. And so of the following 4, which 2 would you pick for my wide receiver 2 and flex? I've got Mariota, A.J. Green, Rishard Matthews, and Malcolm Mitchell. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay, so Mariota's in.
Yeah, he said it's a 2 QB league.
Yes, correct.
So Mariota's in. Yeah,
yeah,
he would be for me.
I would not be playing. Oh gosh, the AJ Green thing is tough The AJ Gay thing, I just don't want to get burned by Green in my fantasy championship. I also don't want to lose with him on my bench if my options aren't better. I don't love Rishard Matthews.
So Green, Rishard Matthews,
and Malcolm Mitchell. So I play Green. I'll play Mariota and Green.
I love Malcolm Mitchell this week. And
I know you do. And that was that's one of the biggest
disagreements
this week that we disagree on. It's just my confidence level in Mitchell is not there.
Do you think he's a wide receiver 2? Will you water bet a wide receiver 2 or better?
Would I No, I think he could finish in the top 24. I mean, if you top 15?
Well, my point is more I think that he
startable.
Very startable. I believe he's somewhat safe against the Jets, who have looked inept with Tom Brady. So for me, I'm playing Malcolm Mitchell here.
I don't look. The difference is just the wide range of ending results for Malcolm Mitchell in my mind. I think that he absolutely could do what he's done several times and have a really good week. I also think he could finish the 55th wide receiver. That's my fear. You said he's safe against New York. I don't know if they need him.
Okay, so here are in a half-point scoring the last few weeks. So this past week against Denver, where Tom Brady had his worst game in as long as I can remember, he only had 1.9 fantasy points. That's not good. The week before that, 12.1. The week before that, 12.2. The week before that, 18.7. The week before that, 19.8. Malcolm Mitchell has become a key part of that passing game, and against the Jets versus against Denver, I think he's safe with upside. I don't see him finishing as the wide receiver 55.
So let's put it this way. If he finishes as a top 15, I'm wet.
Okay.
If he finishes outside the top 30, you're wet.
That sounds great.
Water bet.
So if he's in between 15 and 30, we're nice and dry. All right.
Would you answer that question? So you went Green.
I went Green and Mariota.
You're going Mitchell?
I'm going Mitchell.
Man.
I hope you go Rishard Matthews. Give him no help.
I like Matthews, but I'm with Jason. I like Malcolm Mitchell a lot this week against the Jets.
That's all right. Do you want any piece of that bet?
No.
Okay.
I'll be the 15 to 30 range.
All right. We have a start 2 question from Brian in Michigan. Marvin Jones, Eli Rogers, Tevin Coleman, or Robby Anderson?
Oh, man.
Marvin Jones, Eli Rogers, Tevin Coleman, or Robby Anderson for the championship. In our first year of Dynasty, you've got Tevin Coleman on the road against Carolina. You know Robby Anderson and his matchup with his kind of partnership with Petty, but playing the Pats. Eli Rogers, I can't put him into this consideration. And Marvin Jones, you're really counting on a couple big plays against Dallas and Dallas. I'm going to go Robby Anderson and Tevin Coleman.
That's where I lean as well. It's ironic because the first guy in for me is Robby Anderson.
Yeah, I think he is for me too.
He's top of the list, especially in a full PPR. That he's getting it done. And then Tevin Coleman's just the best of bad options here. And Tevin Coleman's been great. I just don't love the matchup for him.
Here's a tough one for maybe we'll see. Nick in Kentucky, who would you start to win your championship? Matt Ryan or Marcus Mariota? His opponent has Julio and Delaney Walker. And Atlanta, in Carolina, that defense looks okay right now.
I'm going Matt Ryan.
I'm going Matt Ryan.
This one isn't difficult for me. Matt Ryan's been too good this year.
I'm not going to sit him in the championship. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Matt Ryan can have a great game without Julio Jones.
Over-under in that game is 8 points higher, too.
Matt Ryan, and then if Julio Jones has a great game, you know that Matt Ryan had a decent outing. Julio Jones, last time he played Carolina, 300. That was the game.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So
that's pretty good.
Never forget.
Matt in Fairfax, Virginia says, "Gentlemen, I am playing for the ship this weekend.
That's
and
good.
I need your sage-like advice. I have Julio Jones and T.Y. Hilton as my starting wide receivers, but need to decide between Rishard Matthews, Cameron Meredith, and Taylor Gabriel for my flex play. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Your show is the cat's pajamas."
Ooh.
High praise.
The cat's pajamas.
I don't think we've ever had that big a compliment.
I would be very, very
the flappers
allergic
love
to
us.
cat pajamas.
Oh, yeah, I would die.
They were like made out of cats?
Yeah.
Like,
I would die.
I would be dead.
I'm not weak like you two with your allergies.
That is correct.
So,
I'm allergic to
I
cats.
would just be sad. I would just be sad wearing cat pajamas.
I'm allergic to two things: cats
and cucumbers, which I put on your sandwich yesterday.
and cucumbers.
You're gonna die.
Yes. Update from the. You guys think about this question. The update that I have for you is that Jason got me a goat cheese, spinach, and cucumber sandwich yesterday.
Grilled chicken.
And I realize now that you choosing my lunch is not just choosing what I eat; it's also choosing what I don't eat.
Oh yeah, because Mike and I had some great.
You guys
shakes.
had burgers and shakes, and I had.
I'm trying to eat better in these stupid lunch bets. I have no choice but to get the chocolate.
You'd
shake.
rather troll me than lose weight.
That's correct.
That's a smart thing. So, what do you do between those three guys, Rishard Matthews, Cameron Meredith, and Taylor Gabriel for the flex play?
Rishard Matthews for me.
I'm really okay with Rishard Matthews. I feel like you're talking about the number one wide receiver on that team.
He's solid.
Yeah. Full point PPR?
You have Julio.
Rishard Matthews.
And I can't remember the other one, but Hilton. You have Julio and Hilton. Just get a nice solid baseline in there because, I mean, Julio and Hilton, they have a little boom bust in them. So I'm going to get a guy who just give me some consistent points.
Yeah, I don't love the matchup, but I do love the player. I've always enjoyed Rishard Matthews' work. So I'm gonna rank these guys: Rishard Matthews, Taylor Gabriel, Cameron
I
Meredith.
feel like Jason goes to like an art gallery and all this is Rishard Matthews pictures on the wall. Well, yes, I really like this one over here.
This one is inducing so many feelings.
He's
Thank
a very
you,
perfected view on.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, kind of a follow-up here. Ty in Syracuse has Dion Lewis through the waiver wire. Wants to know if he'd be a better start at flex than Rishard Matthews, Old Man Fitz, or any of the Patriots wide receivers this week. No.
Any of them?
Yeah. For me, the answer is a big no. Just because Dion Lewis – look, Jason highlighted the fact that Malcolm Mitchell didn't have a game against Denver as a point for the outlier that is Denver. We know that Bill Belichick sets up game plans for specific teams. Dion Lewis was a big part of that, but I'm not confident enough in Lewis in my championship week to say, hey, he's going to get 18 carries again. He could get 8. He could get 4. He could get none. I mean, for me, it's probably Rishard Matthews in a half-point league.
It's probably one of the Pats wide receivers.
Edelman or
Yeah, if you
Hogan
got Edelman.
But
then-
in here,
or Mitchell.
I don't hate Dion Lewis at all this week, but something to keep in mind, because you look at the box score, if you weren't paying attention, 18 carries. That is fantastic. He got, and I think he had a couple targets as well. He was on the field for 37% of snaps. So when he was on the field, he was featured, but the majority of the offensive plays, he wasn't even on the field. So I chalk this up to Billy Belichick feeling like Dion Lewis could exploit Denver in the running game. He was correct. And I think next game it's move on, figure out what we need to do, and that's probably back to Tom Brady in the passing game.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see the tale of two different types of teams. You've got Denver, who's been able to be run on, but you cannot throw the ball on Denver. And then you go to the Jets, who are most of the times difficult to run on, and you can throw it all day.
What's the waiver situation from what you had talked about yesterday, Jason?
Oh no. You know something? Oh no. Let me check.
Is this back to your ridiculous Sean
don't tell
Mannion
me. If
glory
he did
play?
it- If he did it, let me see.
Neither of you did it.
No, I had a claim for sure, without a doubt.
Have they not processed?
They usually process
Did
it.
somebody else snag him?
Let me see. It looks like Sean Mannion added by
The Arrowheads bid $19 to keep him away from you.
You jerk!
And your opponent tried to sign Sean Mannion for $1, and you had bid nothing. The Arrowheads,
Oh,
Noah
my goodness.
Lucas, the
Yes!
3-10 Arrowheads
I got trolled.
have stolen
Well, the joke-
Sean Mannion away from
The
you.
joke's on all of you then, because I was actually going to play him, which was not the right call. So now I'm going to put Big Ben in, and I'm just going to win the championship in your face.
Still,
But
Noah. I
No,
love
hold
it.
on. Noah
I love
Lucas
it,
is
Noah.
smart. Because if you win the championship,
That's true.
there's an extra listener league spot available.
Oh, that's the long con.
That's the long play there.
Oh.
He has been waiting all year to sign Mannion away from
Hey,
you.
Noah, if you're out there, drop him, bro.
Noah, good move. Good move.
All right.
I almost had to do it to save Jason from himself.
You guys all just
Moving
wait.
on.
Kevin in New York City.
New York City.
Hey, guys, just started listening this year, and you got me to my first finals.
Nice.
Ooh.
Would you start Denver, Kansas City, San Diego, or L.A. for my defense?
Oh, wow.
Man.
So Kansas
So
City,
you got Denver and Kansas City.
they play each other.
And those are great defenses.
37.5 point over-unders, the lowest of the week.
Then you have San Diego and L.A., who just have great matchups.
I'm playing Kansas City.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm playing
Okay.
Kansas City at home in Arrowhead. Cold weather,
Yeah.
Sunday night game, great defense, no confidence in Simeon to get it done. I'm playing Kansas. I'm going with the better overall defense over any matchups. I'm not, San Diego at Cleveland. Okay, you want to do that? That's great. L.A. would be right in there. They're all
These
good
are
starts.
honestly going to be
They're all good
4
starts.
of my top 6 or 8
No, that's true.
defenses.
That's true.
I don't think you can go wrong here. So you got to ask yourself, what do you need? Do you need safety or do you need, super high upside? Because if you need a real big play, the super high upside, you're probably looking more towards San Diego and L.A.
I feel like San Diego is safe.
Well, then
The
there you go.
Browns can't score points. They cannot. So even if your defense doesn't get you a ton of sacks, a ton of turnovers, the Browns won't score. So you have this safe 6 to 7 points guaranteed.
I will say this. The fear might be that Denver's defense scores.
Right.
And hurts your defense.
I think, and what's funny is, so you've kind of convinced me to go San Diego, and I think my favorite of these 4 is actually the LA Rams.
Here's the deal with San Diego.
This is a tough question.
The Browns, over the last 5 matchups that they've played in, have given up at least double digits to opposing defenses. So
San Diego.
For 5 straight.
So then stay in those flames.
Joey Bosa
However,
is going to have a barbecue.
Denver, the defense that faces Denver, double digits in 4 of the last 5, including the last 3 weeks, 10-4, 10-14. 2 fumble recoveries in each of the last 2 weeks, interception, so giving up sacks. I'm going Kansas City. I'm sticking with it. And that's it's defense versus matchup, and I think they're all good. Jason made the best point. He said they're probably 4 of the best 6. Great question here from Nick in Chicago. Very interesting question. The semifinal to determine who I play in the championship ended up in a tie. No decimal scoring in this league. And our tiebreak is bench points. Okay?
Okay.
For the championship week, is it worth dropping all my handcuffs right before game time to pick up playing quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Or other players that should have a good baseline? What could go wrong with this strategy?
0.
Nothing. If it's not a keeper
I've
league,
done it.
Yeah, I've done it as well.
if it's not a keeper league where you need those guys on your team for later and and it's your championship week, nothing is the week after, you'd be a fool not to max out your bench points the day of. Great strategy, great thought.
The only thing that I will say that could hurt you is if you drop a player that doesn't play till like Monday and your opponent could sign in play or something. So
Sure,
don't
that's-
lose sight of the actuality of like when guys play. But overall, you should be okay doing that.
Yeah, I think that's a strong play, and there's probably a lot of people out there listening that are in this situation. So I agree with, look at the Monday and the Sunday games. Make sure you're not dropping a playable asset, but do this.
All right, Thursday night preview. The New York Football Giants at 10-4 take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 5-9 now. They got off to that hot start, but it faded away. Let's talk storylines in this game. The Giants, we know, they've been very good this year, especially on defense, taking away weapons, strong up front. I know we've already said we don't have confidence in a running option for Philadelphia. Do you have confidence in any option for Philadelphia? And does it maybe just boil down to Zach Ertz?
I was going to say, I'm fine with Zach Ertz. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm okay with Ertz as well.
Giants defense against the pass has been
amazing.
very good in terms of not giving up touchdowns, low passer rating.
Yeah, I talked about Jordan Matthews. I'm still okay playing him because he will get the volume. But I'm not going to play like Darius Hayward-Bay, or not Darius Hayward-Bay, Dorial Green Beckham. I'm not. It's Ertz, it's Jordan Matthews, and if I'm picking a running back, it's still Ryan Matthews because the only thing I think you can hope for is the touchdown, and Ryan Matthews has been pretty solid with touchdowns. He has 8 on the year.
Yeah, and I'll throw out one other Philadelphia Eagle that I would be very happy to play.
9. I stand corrected. He has 9 touchdowns.
And this guy might be he's a deep sleeper for that boom boom. But Caleb Sturgis has been shockingly good this year. He is the 6th best kicker, and going up against the New York Giants, who are 26th.
Oh my gosh!
And giving up kicker
Well,
points.
I'll-
Hey,
I'll
it's
let
championship
Jason's
week.
talking kickers.
I know.
It's great. He used
I
to
hate my
them,
life.
and
I
now
still hate kickers.
you can't. You
look.
cannot take kickers out of your leagues if you're the boom boom champion of the world.
I took kickers out of our listener league, and I'm in the championship because we got none of that nonsense.
I asked this question, I think, last week, and it's Trey Burton, the other tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. Last 3 weeks, 9 targets, 10 targets, 6 targets. I mean, he did basically nothing against Baltimore, but we know Baltimore is notoriously great. And they have a great defense against tight ends. Burton's getting targets.
Stay away. Stay
Oh,
as far
okay.
away as you possibly can.
Okay.
This is championship week, Mike.
You've got.
And that's what I understand the risk involved, but
You don't get points for targets. He's only had 2 fantasy points, 7 and then 10, and then 2 last week. Stay far away.
all
Just
right.
like, I mean, I could pick literally 10 tight ends at random that I'd rather start over Burton.
All right.
Let's spend the rest of the show with me just talking down Trey Burton.
On the
On
New
the
York-
other side,
Yeah.
Jennings, Perkins. Gosh, I can't have very much confidence.
If I have to pick one of those guys, I'm going Odell Beckham. That's my decision.
Love Beckham. I mean, Eagles defense allows big plays. They've given up almost the most amount of more than 20-yard plays of any secondary. 11% of catches are more than 20 yards.
Yeah, getting honestly.
What are you laughing at, Jason?
He got me good with that one.
Getting actually over to the running backs. I don't think you could trust Rishard Jennings. He's had 15 touches and 18 touches on the ground the last 2 weeks. That's trustworthy numbers. I mean, that's like getting it done. If my running back has 15 or 18 carries, I love that. And he has, in those 2 games, had 45 yards and 38 yards.
Ew.
Put up fantasy
Ew.
nothings, and Philadelphia's defense is okay. So to me, I don't like the ups. What's the upside of Rishard?
Well, look,
Jennings?
I mean, Paul Perkins had more yards last week on 11 carries. He had 15 carries the week before. I don't want either of them.
Yeah.
I don't. You remember Perkins restaurants? Did you guys ever eat at the old Perkins restaurants?
Of
I am-
course.
really?
Of course.
I remember them. I didn't eat there because I'm like under 80.
You didn't
Yeah, that's
go-
fair.
I didn't go there by myself.
Sure, your great grandparents took you.
Yes.
All right, fair enough.
They took me there. They took me to Luby's.
Oh,
Co-
yeah.
co-
They took
Coco's?
me to Coco's.
Sure.
All right, I
Swenson's?
haven't.
Is Swenson's a
Well,
place?
Swenson's is an ice
Was
cream
that
place.
nationwide?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know how many of these places were. Sizzler?
Sizzler's
Sizzlers.
nationwide. Sizzler still exists, apparently.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Look up the old Sizzler commercials on,
Oh,
on
man,
YouTube.
yes.
Buffet was the ticket.
Yeah, Sizzler had some fantastic
We were
commercials.
eating buffet and sleeping on futons in the 90s. That's what we were doing.
We needed futons because we were going to buffets.
That's right. It was a crazy.
You had to elevate. You're like, man, I got to sit down. Well, I got to lay down.
I think we've hit the bingo for the 90s references at this point. Beckham, if you have to pick another wideout, Shepard is
hold
the
on,
play
hold
for me, obviously.
Eli, you have any confidence playing Eli Manning?
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not happy, but I'm okay with
He'll
it.
probably be somewhere around quarterback 15.
Yeah, I
when
was
finish
going to
my
say 12
rankings.
to 15.
But you always have that upside. I think I've seen something like in the last 4 or 5 games, Odell Beckham is accounting for over 40% of Eli's yards. But this is a game where he could go ham. And I agree with you, Andy. Sterling Shepard is somewhat in play here. He's the clear number 2 option. He's had a touchdown in 2 of the last 3 weeks. So if you need another deeper league option, Sterling Shepard's
So asking for a friend, confidence boost for a good close personal friend of mine. If you are starting Jameis Winston and your opponent's starting Eli Manning in a championship match, you should feel good about that.
I think so.
In your face, Brian.
Okay.
All right.
So much for the friend. All right. We're off to Perkins, but before we do that, we want to thank 5-4 Club for sponsoring us today. Look, if you want to stand out from the crowd, not blend in, if you don't have time to shop, you hate shopping, and you want somebody else to make you look good, trust 5-4 Club, not Rishard Jennings. Trust 5-4 Club. Go to 54club.com. Use the promo code BALLERS at sign up. Get 40% off your first month worth of packages and a free pair of sunglasses valued at $75. The offer expires on December 31st, so act quickly, my friends. 54club.com. All right, that is it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with the matchups and much more.
Hey, good luck, everybody. We know
Yes.
these are the big decisions. And the winners go to fantasyjocks.com for all your winning paraphernalia. The code is footballers. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.